This bike test is brought to you by Avon Tyres.
Kawasaki has updated its 650 learners in 2017, and with just a few simple refinements, it has really made a pair of cracker quackers. Today, we're going to take a look at the Z650L. The 2017 Z replaces the ER6NL, and the changes really bring the bike into line with the Z family. And at first look, you might not think so. The Z650 has traditionally been an inline 4, where this engine is a parallel twin. And the modern Z styling is still there, but not completely. Traditionalists may think, how dare they destroy the sanctity of Z? But realistically, the modern interpretation is designed for people just starting out or coming back. So the changes with the lightweight trellis frame and an engine with increased low to mid-range performance really make sense. All up, the Z650 weighs about 14 kilos less than the ER6NL that it replaces. Kawasaki has shed most of it with the new frame, and almost as importantly, they've also reduced unsprung weight from the wheels, the front axle and the swing arm, which should improve handling. And while that engine remains largely the same, the Z650L produces slightly less power but slightly more torque compared to the previous model. And Kawasaki's redesigned the airbox, throttle bodies, injectors, intake and exhaust cams and intake ports, all to increase low to mid response. The changes make the bike much easier to ride and safer too. It gets off the line easier and is much more forgiving if you're in too high a gear. And Kawasaki has also got you covered with a slipper clutch, which works when you change to too low a gear. So it prevents the rear wheel from locking up. And if you think you've heard most of this before, you're right. The Ninja and Z650s are very similar, and that's because they share the same platform. So there are a few steering geometry changes between the bikes. The steering geometry on the Z650 is slightly sharper than the Ninja, but I think only seasoned pros will notice the difference. And there's no mistaking that this Z650 is part of the Z family. The upswept seat may not have the Z pattern like the iconic Z1000, but it does share that imposing aura Kawasaki dubs Tsugomi. In 2017, we see a Z pattern LED taillight and sophisticated instrumentation, which has a digital tacho which doubles as a shift light. There's also a gear position indicator, which is a great learner-friendly feature, as well as the usual suspects: odometer, dual trip meters, fuel range, current and average fuel range, current and average fuel consumption, external temperature, coolant temperature, a clock, and the economical riding indicator, which tells you when you're riding like an old granny, but you're getting good fuel consumption. The other big point of difference in the styling is the offset rear shock has been replaced with a linkage unit. The test unit we received is in metallic flat spark black, and there is also a pearl flat white version available too. As a daily ride, the Z650L makes a great commuter and all-round fun bike to ride. Same as the Ninja. Kawasaki deserves high praise for the engine changes and weight reduction. The bike gets off the line with ease, will get you out in front of traffic and is happy to sit at those city speeds in a high gear. The upright riding position is certainly a factor here too. A low seat height and easy reach to the bars will suit most. The riding position is ever so slightly forward and into the wind, and it allows the rider to feel in control without putting too much pressure on your wrists. When it comes to stopping the bike, two 300mm discs are up front with two piston calipers, and they're there to pull you up on a dime. ABS is standard, and the initial bite's strong, and the feedback's good through the levers. The suspension's also pretty well set up for daily riding too. It's not too firm and it's not too plush. It is pretty basic kit though, so you're going to have to set the rear preload, which is basically for rider weight. When the speeds increase to that 80 to 90 km/h mark, there's no need to bang down a gear or two. The Z will pull away, but not too far. The engine changes and shorter gearing will give the bike a tendency to sign off a touch earlier. The Z will handle those freeway speeds too, although wind buffeting may start to become a problem. If you spend a lot of time on the open road, the Ninja might be the better pick for you. Some vibrations also creep in around that 5,000 rev mark, which isn't so much of a problem at those everyday speeds. But at the freeway limit, the ride can become a bit tingly. It's not a huge complaint, but something Kawasaki might want to look at to improve the bike in future. I got the chance to push this bike pretty hard, and tipping the bike over from side to side provides a great experience of what motorcycling is all about. And the Z650L is great in that sense, because you don't have to go out and buy a bigger machine once you're off your L plates. So I've spent a few weeks with the bike, and I think it's a great middleweight option. It's a great learner bike, it'll be great for commuters and great for returner riders too. It's got a list of features that's as good as it is long. Prices start from $9,699 plus on roads. Go and check one out at your local Kawasaki dealer.